The universe is constantly expanding. And every time the topic of cosmic expansion comes up, you'll almost always see a flood of the same comments. If the universe is expanding, what is it expanding into? What's containing our universe? Or what's outside the universe? Today, we're going to answer that question as clearly and thoroughly as possible. The main topic of this piece is the ultimate boundary of the universe, or, in other words, whether anything exists beyond it. Hello everyone. Welcome to Knowlix, where your mind grows a little bigger every day. First, it's important to recognize that the question, what's outside the universe, isn't really a standard scientific question. It's more of a philosophical one, a vivid testament to humanity's boundless curiosity. At its core, it feels similar to other classic mysteries. What existed before the Big Bang? What was there before space and time even began? Or what could possibly be smaller than the smallest thing in the universe? Humans have always been uniquely fascinated by whatever lies beyond the limits of our current understanding. History has shown that we love pushing those boundaries, even when we sometimes pay a price for it. So, back to the main question. What's outside the universe? The answer depends entirely on how we define the universe. To answer accurately, we first need a clear definition. According to Wikipedia, the universe is all of space, time, and everything contained within it, including planets, stars, galaxies, and all forms of matter and energy. By this definition, the very idea of outside the universe becomes meaningless. The universe is the totality of existence, everything that has ever existed, exists now, or will exist in the future. It is both the content and the container. It holds itself, and there is simply no such thing as outside. Even if we could prove the universe has a finite size with a measurable volume, anything beyond that finite volume would still be part of the universe according to the definition above. Imagine a simple example. A giant bag containing everything in the universe. Then another bag containing that first bag, followed by countless more bags outside it. All of those bags, by the definition we just established, are still components of the universe, so they're not truly outside, as many people assume. And what if the universe is truly infinite? In that case, it's like the set of natural numbers, it can stretch on forever with no end. An infinite universe has no edge, and therefore the concept of outside simply doesn't exist. That said, many people aren't satisfied with stopping at the purely definitional answer that there's nothing outside the universe. To dig deeper and uncover something truly fascinating, we need to shift our perspective slightly. Instead of defining the universe as everything that exists, let's switch to the concept of the observable universe. The observable universe is a vast spherical region containing all the matter we can possibly observe from Earth, whether through ground-based telescopes, space telescopes, or probes sent out by humans up to the present moment. Scientists estimate that this observable universe contains hundreds of billions of galaxies and has a diameter of about 93 billion light-years. At this point, many people wonder, the universe is only about 13.8 billion years old. So why is the diameter of the observable universe 93 billion light-years instead of just double that, 27.6 billion light-years? The reason lies in the expansion of the universe itself. Not only is the universe expanding, but it's expanding faster than the speed of light. Based on this rate of expansion, scientists calculate that if light from a distant star has taken the entire 13.8 billion years of the universe's existence to reach Earth, that star is currently about 46.5 billion light-years away from us. Moreover, researchers estimate that every single second, roughly 20.000 stars leave the observable universe and vanish from our view forever. In this context, outside the universe really means outside the observable universe. And beyond the observable universe lies the unobservable universe, or possibly many unobservable universes. At this point, we've stepped into an even bigger idea, the multiverse. If you're a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, You're probably already familiar with the concept of the multiverse. It's explained quite simply through characters like Mysterio and Spider-Man in Spider-Man Far From Home, or Doctor Strange in Doctor Strange and Avengers Endgame. The multiverse consists of parallel realities, timelines, Earths, and universes existing alongside one another. After Season 1 of the Loki series, the idea was expanded even further. Within each universe, each reality, and each timeline, there exists a different version of Earth, of Loki, and even of ourselves. The film The One, released about 20 years ago, also explored the multiverse. It centers on the villain Gabriel Yul Law, played by Jet Li, a man who travels across parallel realities, killing every other version of himself in order to become the single supreme being in the entire multiverse. From a scientific standpoint, the multiverse is a set of hypotheses suggesting that there may be many, or even infinitely many, parallel universes existing together. These universes together make up the totality of existence, including space, time, matter, energy, and their own distinct physical laws and constants that govern how each one operates. However, the multiverse is not yet a complete, traditional scientific theory because it is extremely difficult to test or verify using conventional experimental methods. Nevertheless, many prominent modern scientists have proposed or supported multiverse hypotheses, including Stephen Hawking, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Michio Kaku, and Greene. At the same time, plenty of people remain skeptical about the existence of other versions of themselves somewhere out there. Supporters generally agree that countless parallel universes may coexist, but exactly how they exist remains a topic of intense debate. According to American theoretical physicist Michio Kaku, there are two popular ways to visualize the multiverse. The first is similar to how the Marvel Cinematic Universe portrays it, as an endless timeline with past, present, and future. Quantum theory suggests that the flow of time can branch whenever an event or decision changes destiny, creating parallel realities. We are constantly branching every time we make a movement or take an action that alters our fate. This produces an infinite number of parallel universes, each with infinite versions of ourselves. You might be an only child in this universe but have a twin sibling in another. You could be struggling financially here but incredibly wealthy in a different reality. You might be an athlete, a scientist, a murderer, a celebrity, or, who knows, even a crocodile somewhere out there. The second way to picture the multiverse is like soap bubbles. Quantum theory tells us that what we think of as empty space, the vacuum we assume as nothing, is actually teeming with tiny quantum bubbles. These bubbles are constantly being born and destroyed. Sometimes they collide, creating a larger bubble. Michio Kaku suggests that such a collision is what we call the Big Bang, the massive explosion we often talk about. Among the countless quantum bubbles, one kept growing and expanding into the enormous universe we live in today. The eternal inflation model goes even further, proposing that the Big Bang isn't a one-time event but happens continuously in many places. Right now, as you read these words, a Big Bang could be occurring somewhere in the multiverse, giving birth to countless new parallel universes. Michio Kaku emphasizes that these parallel universes don't necessarily follow the same rules as ours. The speed of light doesn't have to be 300.000 kilometers per second. Stars don't have to fuse nuclei and shine. Life doesn't have to form. And light itself doesn't even have to exist. All the constants and rules we consider unchanging in our universe could be completely different in other parallel universes. In summary, what lies outside the universe depends entirely on how we define the universe. If the universe is everything that exists, then the concept of anything outside it doesn't make sense. But if we're talking about the observable universe, then beyond it could be regions of unobservable universe, or even an infinite number of parallel universe bubbles, each operating under its own unique set of parameters and physical laws. And before you start dreaming about visiting neighboring universes, remember, one of them might be nothing but endless darkness, or a place where our bodies would disintegrate instantly. What do you think about all this? Do you believe the multiverse exists? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Thank you for watching Knowlix.